let's have instant replay. There's just too much at stake.
The Yankees head to Detroit down 0-2 in their game.
Have taken the first two. And they go to Detroit for the next three.
Into Detroit, we're the underdog right now.
2 games under their belt, the Tigers have to feel calm, cool, and confident. Everyone is looking forward to watching Justin Verlander.
Verlander is an ace king of the hill. The Yankees will try to do what the 1996 Yankees did and win 4 straight.
Away we go from Comerica Park.
It has been 9 long days since the Tigers' last home game. And here at Comerica Park, they are raring to go. This American League Championship Series coverage on TBS is presented by the Capital One Cash Rewards Card. We get set for Game 3 of the American League Championship Series between the Yankees and the Tigers. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to Detroit, along with Ron Darling and John Smoltz. I'm Ernie Johnson. Appreciate you being with us tonight. John, let's talk about the Tigers. They knew that when Justin Verlander had to pitch Game 5 against Oakland, that the soonest they would see him in this series would be Game 3 here. They just didn't know he'd be trying to pitch him to a 3-0 lead in this series.
Well, exactly. Both teams knew their aces were waiting in the wings, but in a best-of-7, Game 3 is a swing game. Very important. And the Tigers are up 2-0, and they've got their stud on the mound. They're feeling really good here in Detroit. For Justin Verlander, look, it's hard to find a bad statistic. His first 8 starts in the postseason, probably not his best, but he's learned really quickly. He's dominating. His last 8 starts, he's won 7 of them. 6 of those starts only giving up 1 run. You've got to feel real good if you're a Tiger. There is some pressure on Justin Verlander, let's not be mistaken, but if he wins this game, it's pretty tough to come back from 3 down.
I'll say it is. Now, only 3 teams, when they've lost the first 2 games at home, have come back to win a best-of-7. The Royals in '85, Ron Darling's Mets in '86, and the Yankees of '96.
So you think about it, 16 years ago, the New York Yankees left Old Yankee Stadium to a chorus of boos. David Cohn pitched a game of his life in Game 3, and really that's what Philip Hughes is trying to do tonight. He's got some real good feelings, though, here at Comerica Park. He pitched his only complete game here in June. The opposing pitcher that he bested was Justin Verlander. When you look at the lineup, though, of the Yankees, Alex Rodriguez is not in the lineup today. Hi, Alex. And it's really strange because he had 2 home runs against Verlander this year. But Joe Girardi said this series could be turned on its nose if they win 1 game because they have their ace, CC Sabathia, tomorrow night.
You mentioned the 1996 Yankees and the team that they defeated when they came back. The first pitch of Game 3 is just around the bend here on TBS. We'll be right back. degrees, 53 degrees at the current time as we begin Game 3. And before we get started, let's go down to Craig Sager.
Detroit manager Jim Leyland has been in professional baseball for 49 years. From the despair of losing Game 7 in Pittsburgh in 1991 to the ecstasy of winning the World Series with Florida in 1990, experienced it all. With his ace, Justin Verlander, on the mound tonight, I asked him, who is the best big game pitcher you have ever seen? Without hesitation, he said, John Smoltz, and added, Justin Verlander has the talent, focus, and confidence to get there. I just hope he speeds up the process tonight. DJ?
All right, thank you very much, Craig. We'll get John's reaction to that in just a second. First, we have to bring you the starting lineups brought to you by the Capital One Cash Rewards Card. Give John a little more time to compose his thoughts. Brett Gardner leads it off. In left field, Ichiro hits second, then Mark Teixeira. Robinson Cano is in the cleanup spot. And as you look at this Yankee batting order, you'll notice that Alex Rodriguez, as you heard in our pregame show, is not in there. Eric Chavez at third base, Curtis Granderson in center, and Eduardo Nunez fills in for Derek Jeter at short as they face Justin Verlander. How about the high praise from Jimmy Leyland?
Well, I'm honored, but the guy we're watching tonight has a chance to be the best of all time because of the progress he's made. Look, this guy, most guys would say in baseball, when you're going good, you get called up to another league. Start, watch the RPMs. What I mean by that is don't get too juiced up too early. Learn from the past, which he has in the postseason, and be the closer tonight. So they're looking for Justin Verlander to be the starter, the setup guy, and the closer if all things work as they have in the past.
Certainly able to do that in the clincher against the Oakland A's, which got him here into the American League Championship Series. Brett Gardner leads it off for the Yankees against Verlander. Shortened up as if to bunt and took it for a strike, and we're underway at Comerica Park. The speed lineup being employed by Joe Girardi tonight.
With Gardner in the first spot, Ichiro in the second spot. Remember, Nunez in the ninth. That's three people in a row once you turn over the lineup.
Miguel Cabrera way in on the grass at third. Gardner to second. Infante throws him out for the first out.
Well, the Tiger defense behind Verlander in the outfield. Around Quentin Berry in left field, Austin Jackson and Andy Dirks. That's their best defensive outfield, too. Cabrera, Peralta, Infante, Prince Fielder at first base, and Alex Avila does the catching against the right-handed pitcher.
Verlander, of course, last year's Cy Young Award winner and American League MVP. And actually the Triple Crown winner. Pitching version in 2011, leading in wins and ERA and strikeouts. And he was right near the top of a lot of categories once again in 2012. Here's Ichiro. He takes high and away, 1-0.
When you go try to find stats on people, you can find a lot of good and interesting ones. I only found one bad stat.
I'm all ears.
He's 2-2 on Tuesdays.
Usually I hear 2 for 2 on Tuesday, but there's 2-2.
Ball and a strike to Ichiro, who leads the Yankees with 9 postseason hits. He's 9 out of 33, and in this series he's 4 out of 10. And shares the team lead with 5 runs batted in. Ball and 2 strikes for the guy who ranks second toughest to fan in the American League.
Talk about that RPM, and what that means is basically when you're revving a car and you're revving an engine, think of Verlander as an engine. You want to kind of cruise early and then rev it up late. That's when he's at his best.
Ichiro waiting on a 2-2. First strikeout of the night for Verlander, who struck out 11 in each of the games he started against Oakland.
Yeah, to give you an example, this is a fastball that ties him up. In the first inning, he's going to average somewhere between 93 to 94 miles an hour. Okay, so that's his cruising speed. That's everybody else's wish list, by the way. And in the ninth, it's going to be somewhere in 97 miles an hour. Try to Try to just imagine that in about 120 pitches.
Here's Mark Teixeira, who takes a strike 0-1.
So you look at that right there. First gear, second gear, and all the way up to sixth.
Overdrive. In the air to left center field. Barry is over, calling, and that is a 1-2-3 inning for Justin Verlander. We head to the bottom half of the first. The Capital One Cash Rewards card for the Tigers. Austin Jackson leads it off in center, then it's Quentin Berry. The Triple Crown winner Miguel Cabrera hits third, then Prince Fielder in the cleanup spot. He's followed by Delman Young, Andy Dirks in right. Johnny Peralta having a great series with the glove and the bat. And then it's Alex Avila behind the plate and Omar Infante at second against Phil Hughes.
Well, Phil Hughes progressing each year, had a good postseason start already, hoping to have a miracle great one here against a great pitcher.
Austin Jackson swings at the first pitch, and he's thrown out by Eric Chavez.
And basically, if you're looking at Phil Hughes, loves pitching at home, not so much on the road, but get to 2 strikes. Find a way to get to 2 strikes. He's pretty good with 2 strikes. Control the right-handers, a high batting average against. And I said, pitch the game of your life. That's all you got to do is pitch the game of your life. But the splits against right-handers and left-handers a little bit odd for a right-hander. You would think it'd be the other way around. So the right-handers in the lineup for the Tigers looking to take advantage of a fastball that comes back over the plate sometimes.
Here's Quentin Berry, 1 out of 5 in the series. He takes the first pitch over for a strike.
Really, John, Hughes just wants to pitch the game that he pitched here on June 3rd when he went 9 innings, 4 hits, only 1 run, the home run to Prince Fielder, his only complete game all season long. Hopefully that's enough.
Yeah.
And as you pointed out earlier, that June 3rd game, a showdown with Verlander, which he won. Berry takes ball and 2 strikes. Hughes gave up a lot of home runs this year, 35, and in that start against Baltimore gave up 1 to Nate McLeod. That's right up the middle, base hit. And the Tigers have a runner on with 1 down here in the first. Berry's a good base runner too. 21 steals this year.
Got to 2 strikes and got the ball up. Probably didn't get the call. He thought he was going to get 0-2. Thought that caught the strike zone. He did. And the one thing for Hughes tonight, as is Verlander, the wind's kind of blowing in. They're fly ball pitchers, so they're really going to have to crush it. And oh, by the way, the guy at the plate, he can really crush it.
Yeah. Berry, 21 stolen bases in 21 tries. Cabrera, here's the MVP chance from the fans here at Comerica.
I think that's a done deal. Just an incredible season for Cabrera. 40 of those 44 home runs against right-handed pitching.
Two balls and no strikes.
What's interesting to see here, John, is that all of the pitchers for the New York Yankees, starting pitchers, have gone inside to Cabrera to start his at-bats and have been very aggressive inside. Hughes is not that kind of pitcher. Pitches more on the outside part.
And the good news is he's here with a bigger park. Going inside in New York keeps him from reaching that short porch in right field. He just flips it out there.
2-0 is over. On August 7th, Cabrera got one he liked from Hughes and put it in the seats and left. One of his 44 home runs in winning the Triple Crown. 139 runs batted in. He hit .330. The only guy to hit with a higher average was Buster Posey of the Giants.
You know, it's interesting. Earlier in the year, we did a game here, and he was hitting for a high average. Hadn't hit for a lot of power yet. He was frustrated. And I went up to him, and he said, I got to hit with more power. I got to lift the ball. Well, he did. He turned it around, and he hit 40 home runs off right-handers.
That's in the air to center. Granderson ranging over to make the play. 2 down.
One of the reasons you have these outfielders, of course, Gardner, Granderson, Suzuki, those 10 Gold Gloves, fly ball pitcher. The most fly ball outs in American baseball was pitcher Chavez, Nunez, Cano, Teixeira, and Martin behind the plate. I was trying to split out, sorry, that Phil Hughes gave up the most fly ball outs this year.
Came across perfectly clear to me and John.
He did.
Here's Prince Fielder.
Well, with Berry on first and Cabrera up, really no chance to steal. He has not gotten caught stealing yet. I think this is a perfect situation now with Prince up, but you wanted Cabrera to hit.
Yeah, that 21 for 21, by the way, an American League record. Fielder hitting .222 in the series. 2 out of 9. And 6 for 30 in the postseason with a homer and 3 runs batted in. Two balls and no strikes to the Tigers cleanup hitter.
Talking to Jim Leland today, asked him what he thought. Did he have to speak to his troops up 2-0? He said, I just told him to play the game and don't say anything stupid. Which you don't want any bulletin board material for the Yankees.
Detroit winning the first 2 at Yankee Stadium. Coming here for 3, 4, and 5. 5 if necessary. Fielder hit .313 this year. That is 6th straight season of at least 30 homers. And the count even, 2 balls and 2 strikes.
I'm going to show you where Granderson's playing. That's a home run in Yankees. I'm just kidding. But you see how much distance he's got behind him at this ballpark to give you a little bit of perspective. And he can cover ground just like Jackson can. So he plays a little bit deeper here, but he's got a lot of room behind him.
The count full with 2 down. And fielder at the plate, Quentin Berry at first. He's singled with 1 out. And the Tigers have runners at first and second for Delman Young.
Well, pitchers have memories also, and he remembers the home run he gave up to fielder in June. Very careful with Prince at that at-bat.
When Young came over here last year, it seemed like every first pitch he saw he swung at. Been a little bit more selective, but dangerous in the count that he loves swinging with runners in base. He loves driving the ball. He's a bad ball hitter. For Phil Hughes, throwing fastballs and sliders. See how aggressive Young plays it in the beginning of this first inning.
Young leads the Tigers in the postseason with 6 runs batted in. And he's homered in this series. Berry and fielder lead. Takes a strike on the corner, 1-1.
RBIs in Tigers postseason history, of course, the great Hank Greenberg leads the list. Gibson, Young, and Cabrera.
That ball's in the air to right. Ichiro back a few steps and makes the play to retire the side. We're going to the second. Scoreless. Social Dugout presented by Samsung Galaxy S3. Predict plays before they happen, score points, compete against your friends, and earn rewards. Download the app by visiting tbs.com/Social Dugout. Top half of the second inning, 4, 5, 6 hitters for New York. Cano, Ibanez, and Martin. Just joining us, Alex Rodriguez not in the Yankees starting lineup tonight. Joe Girardi telling us before the game that because A-Rod has been struggling against right-handed pitching, one of the reasons that he's not in there.
I mean, there are so many hitters that are struggling for the Yankees. Of course, Cano, 0 for his last 26. He has been struggling. Swisher's out of lineup struggling. It's inconceivable to me that Alex Rodriguez is not in the lineup. 2 home runs against Verlander this year. You know, John, as a former pitcher, just the threat of a guy who's taken you deep a couple of times is going to raise your ire just a bit.
On the ground to short, Johnny Peralta, one of the best in the business, throws him out, 1 down.
Yeah, sometimes just numbers alone, you can't figure it out. Some guys get hits with you don't know why, and just that presence in the lineup. Had 3 home runs, I believe, off of Verlander for his career. And he's not in the lineup. The Yankees are doing whatever they can. I'm sure Joe Girardi's trying to start the offense any way he can.
But then again, if you look at all the numbers, and here's just a small sampling, every single number you see of A-Rod in the postseason has just been disastrous so far.
Raul Ibanez takes a strike from Justin Verlander.
Ibanez, the lowest batting average against any pitcher with a minimum 20 at bats. But he is their hottest hitter. Hard to take him out of the lineup.
There comes the 0-1. Up high, ball and a strike. And if you weren't here for our pregame show, Craig Sager also reporting on a situation that happened in game 1 of the series. Craig, you want to reiterate what you told us then?
Well, there was a story in the New York Post that said an unnamed witness saw A-Rod, quote, flirting with some fans in game 1 after he was benched. And then today in the press conference, Joe Girardi was asked about the story from a reporter from the New York Daily News. So now you have the Post and the News both going back and forth. So I'm afraid that this story, even though A-Rod refused comment and said it was laughable, I'm afraid we're going to be hearing more about this. It probably has a shelf life of a couple of days.
All right, thank you, Craig. And when we asked Joe Girardi about it, he also offered no comment on the situation. And
Brian Cashman, no comment on the situation. Usually their comment would be, as Alex was, that's laughable, and I don't put any merit in it. But no comment spoke volumes to me.
Followed straight back by Ibanez. They did say, or Joe Girardi did say, the decision not to play Alex Rodriguez in this game was based on performance on the field, and that was it.
Chavez has good numbers. You wanted him in the lineup. Nunez is playing shortstop to give him more speed.
Ibanez just does stay alive. We go back to Craig real quick. Craig?
Well, with all the drama involving A-Rod in this postseason, twice being pinch hit for, then being benched, not being in the lineup tonight, the story in the Post, the one thing I tell you that does bother him the most is not being in the lineup tonight. He feels a lot like maybe somebody that has great numbers against a pitcher, thought he was ready to go. He said, I can't complain. I can only be ready if my number is called. And who knows, we may see him later in this game as a pinch hitter, but he's very upset he's not starting.
The 2-2 from Verlander misses, and the count is full. And just to put a period on that in terms of A-Rod not playing, and Joe Girardi saying the way he struggled against right-handed pitching. A-Rod is 0 for 18 against righties in this postseason. And a pretty good righty on the hill tonight for Detroit. Another grounder to short. Another easy play for Peralta. 2 up and 2 down in the second.
Well, the problem with hitting off of Verlander, besides the obvious miles per hour, is he has 4 pitches he can go to at any time. A changeup at 90 miles an hour, again, is a drooling fastball for a lot of guys. And he just changes speeds. He changes eye level. He pitches up. He pitches in the middle of the strike zone when he needs to. A curveball. And then, of course, a slider. So you can't feel comfortable. Nobody's racing to the batter's box to face this guy.
A drooling fastball for a lot of guys. Here's Russell Martin. swinging at the first pitch. And Avila just does have room over there by the camera in front of the dugout. Alex Avila with the putout. We're heading to the bottom of the second. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Everything Goodyear has learned making tires that go the distance inspires what they roll into yours. Goodyear, more driven. Beautiful look at Comerica Park. Bottom half of the second inning. And Andy Dirks leads it off against Phil Hughes. Dirks on a tear heading into the postseason, was hitting about 350. And he grounds this one to second. Cano charges and throws him out. One down. That play to end the first inning, or the top half of the second inning. Alex Avila right over there by Steve Angel, who took cover beneath his camera. Didn't want to be involved in it.
You know, he took cover, but he got the camera out of the way of Avila, so it gave him an opportunity to get in there.
And then tried to reach out and help the Tiger catcher.
Very nice.
It's what we're all about here at TBS.
You don't get a last name like Angel for nothing.
Exactly. It may just be a nickname. Here's Johnny Peralta. He takes a strike 0-1.
Phil Hughes can pound the lower part of the strike zone with his fastball. It's going to be a good night for him and the Yankees.
In the air to left. Should be easy for Brett Gardner. 2 up and 2 down. Watch bonus camera angles for the ALCS games with postseason.tv. Get started now at MLB.com.
The obvious thing when you're a pitcher is you know who you're going up against, but you have to block it out. You really do. You're facing their lineup. You're not facing him. And so the more you can get in your rhythm, the more you can establish yourself, keep it close. The pressure is building on the Tigers when the game is close late, especially if you can work the count up and get Verlander out of the game.
It's even more so in the American League, of course, because in the National League, at least you're taking a bat every once in a while against the opposing pitcher.
Alex Avila 1 out of 6 in the series. And he's behind in the count, 0-2.
Interesting, John, these pitchers. One has cut off sleeves and Hughes. Verlander not wearing any sleeves at all on a pretty cool night.
One ball and 2 strikes. The Tigers came into this game hitting .271 for the series, .192 for the Yankees. And Jim Leyland's guys winning an extra innings in game 1 and then getting a shutout in game 2. Avila looks at ball 2. Roki Kuroda pitched well for the Yankees in that start. Got no support. Avila fouls it off.
Well, the Tigers have met every challenge. It hasn't been a great year. Like everyone thought they were going to run away with the league. You know, they added Prince Fielder, all the stuff that happened the following year, the previous year. But it's been tough. They didn't catch the White Sox till late. They had a 2-0 lead against the A's, forced a game 5. So they've been on this roller coaster, and they're really waiting and hoping that Verlander can ride him to a 3-0 lead so they can at least breathe.
Avila goes down swinging to end the second. The big hit brought to you by avocados from Mexico. Abisail Garcia in game 2. Delivering in the 8th inning. That's after the controversial call that happened in a 1-0 game. Go on to add 2 more to make the final score 3-0. And nobody's saying that the Yankees lost the game because of a bad call. That's not the situation. They were shut out, but that certainly contributed to the final tally of 3-0.
It's a lot different trying to pitch with a 1-0 lead than a 3-0 lead late in the game. So, certainly made it less stressful for Phil Koch, who finished that ball game up.
Eric Chavez leads it off against Verlander.
I think the hardest thing to do in sports, they had a chance to not let that happen. Like that call did not cost a run at the time, but then not getting the next 2 hitters out just exasperates the issue. And then, of course, you're going to talk about it more.
2 balls and a strike.
Most guys will tell you, though, even when you make errors behind a pitcher, I mean, it's hard to give teams 4 outs. 3 outs is hard enough.
In his career, Chavez 9 out of 25 with a homer against Verlander. And that's one of the things that when Joe Girardi explained his lineup today, he said, well, Chavez has some good at-bats against their starter. So he's in there at third tonight. Alex Rodriguez sitting. 3 balls and 1 strike as Chavez leads it off here in the top half of the third. Goes the other way, out of play, and the count full.
Well, that's the one thing you can do when you have a big budget club, is that the guys that come off the bench are Chavez's and Raul Ibanez's and Andrew Jones during the regular season. Most teams don't have that luxury. There's Andrew. Freddie Garcia on the left.
Chavez looking for his first hit of this postseason. He's 0 for 11. And that ball hit to center field. Austin Jackson with plenty of room.
If there's any doubt what to throw in a 3-2 or 2-1 or 3-1, most pitchers will go to their secondary pitches today and tonight. Fastball challenging guys, keep it to the middle of the field. There's no way you're going to be able to hit it out with the whip we saw in BP and what we're seeing with the wind. So a lot of fastballs tonight for Phil Hughes, and for obviously Justin Verlander. Takes the guesswork out.
Now here is the former Tiger Curtis Granderson. Played a major role in the Tigers' defeat of the Yankees in 2006 in the American League Division Series.
Joe Girardi said he's in the lineup for his defense. He had a fantastic game here in Detroit in the Division Series last year, and every once in a while he's a guy that can turn one around. They have just been giving him a steady diet of breaking pitches in this series so far, and he's been swinging a lot of pitches out of the strike zone.
He's 0 for 7 with 5 strikeouts in the series, just 3 for 26 in the postseason with 14 strikeouts.
Great first pitch set this up. The guy that's struggling, you think he might come out swinging looking at a fastball pitcher, and he throws him a changeup, and he's followed it now with fastballs. Verlander goes over the scouting report as well.
Fouls back the 1-2.
Tigers starters in the last 31 1/3 innings pitched have not given up an earned run in the postseason. Just
is that any good?
Crazy numbers. Crazy numbers.
And Granderson is out number 2 here in the third. Stay one step ahead. Get alerts whenever something big happens with your teams. Check out the Team Stream app from Bleacher Report on the App Store or Google Play. Second strikeout for Verlander. And here is Eduardo Nunez, the number 9 hitter.
For people who haven't seen Eduardo Nunez play, they love his offense. Great speed. He's got some power. Brings a lot of energy to the ball club. One thing they haven't got from him yet, though, is he's still working on his defense. They tried him in the outfield. Originally the shortstop, where he's playing tonight.
Originally, he was not on the roster for this series, the American League Championship Series. It was only when Jeter got hurt that he was added to replace Jeter. He flies out to end the third. Scoreless, heading to the bottom half of the third inning. This American League Championship Series coverage on TBS is presented by the Capital One Cash Rewards Card. We're in Detroit, Comerica Park. Shade over 50 degrees on a Tuesday night. Glad you're with us here on TBS. Detroit coming in with a 2-0 lead in the series, winning twice at Yankee Stadium. They're now trying to take a commanding 3-0 lead.
I don't know where you got that weather report, but it's not 50 degrees. It's at least 36.
I thought you were embracing the cold, you said.
It feels 36.
Big scoreboard has 51 right now as Omar Infante strokes one to the left into the glove of Brett Gardner for the first out. It does feel a little cooler than 50. I'll grant you that. And if you saw our pregame show, you saw Cal Ripken and Boomer Wells bundled up with winter coats, and Matt Weiner and Dennis Eckersley foregoing the jackets.
It's the heater in the dugout for the players.
Here's Austin Jackson, the Tigers' leadoff hitter, who swung at the first pitch in the first and grounded out to third. Career year for the Tigers center fielder. In average home runs and RBIs. Traded for Curtis Granderson a few seasons ago, and here they go in the postseason again, second straight year. Phil Hughes way ahead 0-2, and here it comes.
Yeah, in that trade, they gave up Granderson, Jackson, Edwin Jackson, and they got Scherzer. I'm sorry, Edwin Jackson, the pitcher, and got Scherzer, Jackson, and Cope in return.
A 1-2. Upstairs, count even, 2 balls and 2 strikes. Hughes went 6 2/3 in his start against the Orioles in the American League Division Series. Mentioned earlier the home runs he'd given up this year, and surrendering one to McLeod in that game, but after that retired the next 8 he faced before leaving that game. It was a solid start.
Well, what's interesting is his changeup was very important against the Baltimore Orioles, but so far in this game, really a fastball and cutter and curve.
On the ground and into right field for the second Tiger hit of the night.
That's been the big change for Jackson, is that with 2 strikes, he's not afraid to go the other way. He's cut down considerably on his strikeouts, increased his on-base percentage, and nice hitting here with 2 strikes inside, outing this ball to right field as it eludes Cano.
And the one problem again, trying to go away, and that ball comes back over the middle, which has led to right-handers hitting too high of an average. He hasn't commanded that part of the plate real well on a 4-seamer. And it's a 4-seamer. We're not talking about a 2-seamer that's coming back over the plate.
Here's Quentin Berry, who lays down a ball up the third base side. Chavez fields and throws him out. Nice footwork at first by Mark Teixeira as Jackson advances to second.
Now that's not a bad play. You don't typically see that play in the American League when they like to slug it out. You look at this bunt, a little hard. But what it does is gets the runner at second base. Now you got the 2 guys to drive him in if they choose not to pitch intently or unintentionally to Cabrera.
No panic in Chavez as he makes that play, and you're right. In this kind of game, you're just trying to get an early lead. Not a bad play by Berry. Good play by Chavez and Teixeira in eluding Berry.
Goes down as a 5-3 in the book. No sacrifice. Jackson is at second. And here is Cabrera, who goes the other way. And it's out of play.
Most difficult thing about facing Cabrera is that defensively, what you have to do with Cano holding the base runner on at second base, you got to take Teixeira and move him so far away from the bag to try to plug that hole a little bit.
And again, Granderson trusting his ability to go back and knowing the wind is going to help slow those balls back down. He is really shallow against a guy who's already taken it off the cabana and the ivy out there.
So that's what makes Cabrera so dangerous. Okay, he hasn't got a hit, but he's gone coast to coast on you. Down the right field line, you throw him inside, he pulls it just foul off the bag.
There's your spray chart right there. That's pretty impressive for a power guy.
And Derek Jeter had 89 hits to the opposite field. Those are the 2 guys who were number 1 and 2 in hits in the American League. Hughes with an 0-2.
Good pitch there by Phil Hughes, right, John? Got to get him off the plate a little.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, look, he can hit no matter what the count is. He stays on pitches. You really just have to be able to outguess him a little bit and out-pitch his ability to hit whatever you're throwing, meaning the slider's got to be great, the curveball's got to break, and the fastball's got to be pinpoint. What makes him so tough, you don't really see him ever jump at hitting. He just sits back, and he's got such good hands. He can really serve it anywhere by that chart we saw. And it's intimidating for a pitcher when you know he's not anxious. There's no way to get him anxious.
He's won back-to-back American League batting titles, and he's the first Tiger to do that since Ty Cobb did it in 3 straight years. He's waiting on a 1-2, and that ball bounces away from Martin, and Jackson will be at third.
We've seen a couple already early in this game mishandled by Russell Martin. Supposed to be a fastball up, mostly a cutter down, and the ball that you got to make that play.
Well, he messes him up here because that's supposed to be a fastball, and he throws a front door cutter Sometimes a ball naturally cut, but I believe he was trying to actually cut that ball in, and it went down instead of where the target was intended.
Martin charged with a pass ball. Jackson at third with 2 down. As we await a 2-2 to Cabrera. And the count full.
It's the first time we've seen Hughes overthrow there, trying to air it out.
He's a taller guy, but what he will do is get down with his arm angle, and that one he got underneath almost appeared to throw like a riser.
The 3-2 is drilled foul.
I mean, for my money here, you got to throw a breaking ball down in the dirt, and if you walk him, you walk him. If you get the swing, you feel good about this at bat. Starting 0-2, pitcher's advantage, working to 3-2. But he just looks too comfortable.
Missed outside. They're at the corners with 2 down. And Prince Fielder strides to the plate here in the third.
Well, for the Mets, he stays on that pitch. Look at that. Just lift, clean, and separate a curveball that hung up in the zone. The way to get Prince is to get that curveball down by his foot. Cannot leave anything right there, or he'll tell you where it's going.
Fielder walked his first time. He bats now with runners at first and third and 2 down in the third.
Prince Fielder might be the best protector in all of baseball. 5 seasons in Milwaukee behind Ryan Braun, and now Triple Crown in front of him here in Detroit.
Missed again, 2-0. Another bad one loads him.
And unfortunately, that's what you got to do. When you have 2 caliber hitters back to back, if the count's not working in your favor and you got a base open, you got to just hang with it and pitch to the next guy and hope that his aggressiveness, being young, will help you get out of the inning.
3-0. Line to center. Granderson right there. And Phil Hughes gets out of a first and third trouble spot here in the third.
This copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Office of the Commissioner of Baseball and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent.
We make our way to the top half of the fourth inning in Game 3 of the ALCS. And it's the top of the New York order. Brett Gardner getting the start in this one. Only had one at bat coming into this postseason. He made the final out the other night in the extra inning game. He'd been hurt this year, and it was a right elbow situation. He had surgery, and really Joe Girardi wasn't set on adding him to the postseason roster until he knew he could hit, because he'd been doing some bunting and he knew he had speed. He could play some defense, but if he wasn't going to be able to hit, he wasn't going to make that roster.
Well, how they got him the at-bats, though, is they played a few simulated games at Yankee Stadium where he took at-bats off live pitching to get back into shape.
2 balls and a strike.
Well, after a tough year trying to figure out what that elbow injury was, he feels like he's going to have a normal offseason and be fine for next year after getting a big bone chip taken out of there.
3 balls and 1 strike. This is what Gardner does too. He works counts.
Works counts, will take pitches. He's pesky. He'll foul off some tough pitches to the left side until he gets something he can handle when he's at his best.
He grounded out to second his first time. He bats here leading off the fourth in a scoreless game in Detroit.
He obviously felt 3-1 was going to be his best chance of hitting, and uncharacteristically swung at probably ball 4. Justin Verlander can live in the strike zone better than most pitchers in game. He knows that he can go to that pitch more than anybody.
The 3-2.
I felt one of the keys today for Justin, beside his pitch count, which thankfully he's not given into the new theory on pitch counts, was foul balls. How many foul balls would the Yankees hitters hit building that pitch count unnecessarily in a way where you don't put it in play? My unofficial count is 7. I'm sure I missed 1. But I am writing it down, so normally I don't.
I do enjoy your unofficial stats totals. You really take those to the bank. The 3-2. And that's tapped foul again. Up toward first.
Well, you can just see, I mean, a guy who's played a lot of baseball and gotten a lot of at-bats, he just doesn't have the plate recognition in these last couple swings. So he's doing his part, trying to find any way he can to get on base and to make it tough for Verlander, because he can do so many things on the base pass. But he swung at 3 straight balls.
It's still, though, frustrating for a pitcher as he keeps throwing that pitch in there and fouled off by Gardner. The other Yankee hitters have swung through those pitches.
Gardner pops it up. Avila calls and makes the play for the first out. Get to the game with Chevrolet, the official vehicle of Major League Baseball. Find your chance to win postseason tickets and an all-new Malibu at Chevy.com/tickets.
John, that's your parking pass for your family tomorrow that's coming to the game.
Yeah. I want to go back to that last pitch and how incredible a pitch that is. That's a 3-2 changeup after a lot of fastballs that you're trying to get ready to hit, and so now all of a sudden you think another fastball's coming and your bat stays in the zone. This is a changeup. He thinks it's a fastball. See what happens to the barrel of the bat. The ball doesn't get there, and he pops it up.
Here's Ichiro.
Talking with Cano, asking him, was that a changeup 3-2s? Green telling him it was to Cano.
In the regular season, Verlander struck out 239 to win the title by 8 over his teammate Max Scherzer, scheduled to go in Game 4 tomorrow night. And he struck out Ichiro his first time. 3 balls and no strikes.
Yeah, the first 2 hitters he's been missing on both sides of the plate with his fastball.
Show you what kind of workhorse Verlander is. He only made 1 more start than Phil Hughes and pitched 47 more innings.
On the season, 238 1/3. Again, a #1 ranking in the American League. He battles right back to run the count full on Ichiro.
A change up first at bat, 1-0. See if he throws a change up 3-2 after battling back.
Hit well into left. And the Yankees have their first base runner.
It was a change up. Ichiro stayed back and does what he does so best. It just slaps it.
No one in baseball keeps the bat in the strike zone longer than Ichiro Suzuki. That flat swing, ball's on plane, and just goes with it outside and serves it to left field. A bullet too from Ichiro.
Now here's Mark Teixeira. And the Tigers shift. Prince Fielder had to flag that throw down from Verlander. So you got 3 infielders on the right side.
You could see the rare 4-5-3 double play. Means Cabrera would take it.
You know what's interesting with this shift is that usually you would have a hole between Prince Fielder and any second baseman. Because of the shift, you do not. So it really, I think, implores Ichiro to steal a base, steal a bag, get in scoring position.
He stole 29 between Seattle and the Yankees this year.
Let me tell you, there's a reason he could steal second and beat the guy going to third.
There you go.
Because your third baseman is going to be maybe covering the bag. I've seen that happen already in a game this year where stolen base and then everyone kind of stood around and next thing you know he took off the third.
In the air to left and bending out of play. Teixeira flied out to left his first time. Came in hitting .320 in this postseason, 8 for 25 with an RBI. The 2-1. That's in the air, and Cabrera with a long run and makes the play in foul territory. With that shift on, boy, did he have to cover some ground.
Well, this is a play that, as you see the heavy breathing of Cabrera, he is playing on the left part or up the middle as a shortstop and had to go all the way. And the foul territory is a big component of Comerica Park, taking away an at-bat from Teixeira. Fine play by Cabrera. Only 1 error in his last 38 games. We always say that, you know, he doesn't get to that many plays, but he's sure-handed. Well, he got to that play.
Now, there were questions as the season started, too, about what they would do, how he would perform defensively at third, and he put those to rest quickly.
Yeah, it hasn't been a problem at all. He took a ball off the face in spring training that had everyone surprised, but after that has been outstanding.
Here's Robinson Cano. Cano grounded out to short his first time. He's 0 for 11 in the series, 2 for 33 in the postseason. And we mentioned it during Game 2 when the streak reached 0 for 25. That set a new playoff record for one postseason. And now that's stretched to 0 for 27 with his ground out in the second. He bats now with Ichiro at first and 2 down. Scoreless game. And that's right at short, too. Peralta to Infante. That'll do it for the Yankees in the fourth. We head to the bottom half. Tonight on TBS, don't miss Kevin Nealon on an all-new Conan tonight after MLB postseason. If the game goes into extra innings, don't worry, we won't let Conan leave. Only on TBS. Very funny. Delman Young will lead it off. Last of the fourth here in Detroit. We are scoreless in Game 3. And he takes a strike. 5 home runs in the postseason last year for Delman Young. Hit 1 this year and now is the franchise leader in postseason home runs for Detroit. Fouled on a play, a ball, and 2 strikes. The home run he hit in Game 1, a bullet. And the Tigers winning the opener in extra innings. That crazy game which they led 4-0 and had it tied up in the 9th, and they won it in 12. That ball is really well hit toward left, and that ball is gone. Delman Young has homered again.
got in the air, it was a line drive, so it had no chance. And look at the location. He did not hit his spot one time. The one time he didn't get the call down the middle, but that ball is a rocket. The wind didn't have a chance to knock it down. But Delman Young took advantage of a hanging breaking ball.
There's an Achilles heel for Philip Hughes. 35 home runs given up during the regular season.
Andy Dirks takes a ball 1-0. We said before the game that it had been 9 days since Tiger fans were able to see their heroes here. They had played those first 2 games in the Oakland series here at Comerica, then gone on the road, opened up the ALCS on the road, and Delman Young gives them a chance to get on their feet. Here in the 4th, it's 1-0 Detroit.
It's been a different Delman Young, hasn't it? In the past, we've seen a guy that's very aggressive. He's been a lot more patient, waiting for his pitch.
(3-1) to Andy Dirks.
Well, one of the things early on right here in this inning, the reason he hasn't gotten a couple close calls or calls that would be strikes, they're setting up in, he's painting away. He's setting up away, he's throwing the ball in. That is big, to your point. That's why he's given up some home runs in situations where the count's in his favor, hits the spot, but he's not hitting it.
Larry Rothschild, the Yankees pitching coach. Going to check out the lines of communication.
You know, I was just thinking about Delman Young here, talking to Prince Fielder, watching Miguel Cabrera play every day and hit every day. It's got to kind of osmosis-wise come your way if you watch Cabrera and the way he swings the bat.
Breaking pitch taken for a strike by Peralta. He's 5 out of 10 in this series after flying out to left his first time. So he's not only hit for average here, but defensively, the plays that Johnny Peralta has made, maybe the series is not 2-0 Detroit without him.
Pitching coach going out, seeing if Philip Hughes is feeling all right. He kind of was shaking his arm there in between pitches to Peralta.
Well, you know, for Phil Hughes, traditionally his fastball isn't a consistent like 93. Yeah. It varies. He gets under some. He beats hitters to the point sometimes, and it reads 90. And then he'll throw in 95, and maybe that's the one to get hit. At the release point, I think, moving forward, when he can dominate, it's when he has a consistent release point. The curveball's coming out of it, the slider's coming out of it, but when he goes down with the elbow and the hand gets behind the ball, that's when he gets in trouble.
Cody Epley up, just in case. Boy,
Too bad.
He's gone.
It's just not been a Yankees good fortune lately. See that slider, see that big circle on those seams. That's not what you want to see. Well, it's what you want to see if you're a hitter. You don't want to see that if you're the catcher. But too bad for Phil Hughes.
So Phil Hughes' night ends here in the 4th inning. He gives up a home run to Delman Young, a walk to Andy Dirks, and facing Johnny Peralta, he cannot continue. We will continue here on TBS right after this. pitcher profile is brought to you by the Droid Razor M by Motorola. David Phelps will be the new Yankee pitcher, and with Phil Hughes forced to leave with some injury, we have not heard what it is yet. Phelps gets all the time he needs to get loose. We saw Epley getting loose after the home run was hit by Young, but it's Phelps they're going to go with. And you look out on this field, and on a cool night at Yankee Stadium, all the Yankees have retreated to the warmth of the dugout. And Phelps getting in his warm-up tosses with Russell Martin.
Yeah, it's the rare occasion where you got two people on the field, everyone else is gone. He'll get plenty of time to get ready. I believe it's the second time he's had to do this. Did he come in for Jabba when Jabba got hit?
Against the Baltimore Orioles, right?
And I think that, you know, as a pitcher, certainly coming off cold off the bench, you're going to go and try not to get rushed by the obvious interest of everybody wanting to play baseball, so he's going to have the time he wants.
3+ innings for Phil Hughes. 3 hits, one of them a home run, and that to Delman Young here in the 4th. Was there anything you saw in his delivery, in his demeanor, that indicated that he was done for the night?
No, the only thing I noticed in that one inning was that how bad he was missing location, which means you're not hanging onto the ball like you want to. You're not extending. Maybe something was bothering him where it altered his arm angle. But when you looked at the pitches, he wasn't missing by 2 inches. It was right to left, left to right. And, you know, who knows? Maybe something got tweaked and the Yankees are not willing to take a chance.
But you're right, John. It started the inning before when he started to drop his arm angle and started to push the baseball to the plate. Larry Rothschild can only scratch his head, of course. Huge game like this, you lose your starter. It'd be hard to warm up in these circumstances. I never had to do this. You know, full house. Everyone's like, come on already. Get loose. Let's start the game up again.
You see Ichiro and Curtis Granderson and Brett Gardner have come back onto the field.
I had to do it once in the bullpen in the 9th inning, and your number one concern is obviously you want to help out, get the final outs before the team, but you don't want to get hurt.
Yeah.
And that's why they give you warm up in the bullpen to get ready at the pace you need. But coming out here when everybody's just sitting around.
The other Yankees returning to their positions as we head down to Craig Sager.
Well, we have not gotten the official word from the Yankees. However, I am right by their dugout, and I heard the players talking back and forth, and they said it's a herniated lumbar disc in his back. He said it was bothering him that inning. It's an injury that, if you remember, bothered him last year as well, but it's really something that hasn't cleared up recently. So we should get further word officially. Perhaps it's the cold weather, but I've been told it's the herniated lumbar disc in his back that's kept him from continuing in this game.
All right, thank you very much, Craig. So Phil Hughes getting the start here in Game 3 and pitching into the 4th inning. When Delman Young homered, Andy Dirks walked, Peralta at the plate could not continue. And here is David Phelps.
Last time he was on the mound was in the top of the 12th at Yankee Stadium in Game 1. Gave up those 2 runs that eventually would prove to be enough for the Tigers to win.
He inherits an 0-2 count, and Peralta takes outside.
How many times in a game do you warm up, come into a game, and intentionally try to throw the ball out of the strike zone?
Yeah, well, again, he's done a nice job filling in the rotation for the Yankees. Now he's had to fill in out of the bullpen.
Way inside, count even, 2 balls and 2 strikes. So Phelps comes in and can't find the strike zone. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Hughes left with an 0-2 count on Peralta. Andy Dirks leads from first. Nobody out here in the 4th.
Peralta up, sinker ball pitcher on the mound. Detroit trying to go for the jugular. Wouldn't be surprised Dirks runs here.
And there he goes. And the pitch fouled over there by the Tiger dugout.
Well, look, Joe Girardi, you always know it's going to be tough facing Justin Verlander. I think what you have to do now is approach this like every inning could possibly be a ninth inning. You're going to have to mix and match and use your whole bullpen. It's not what he wanted to do. You got a day off to reset your bullpen, but you certainly didn't want to have to use them this early.
Dirks on the go again as Peralta sends it into center field. All kind of room out there for Granderson, who makes the catch for the first out. That brings up Alex Avila. Tiger catcher struck out his first time.
Verlander, normally you wait this long, you got about a 3 spot up there if your team is giving you the runs. This delay, you just got to stay fresh, stay warm, and have the mindset to get out there as long in between innings and make your warm-up pitches count.
Well hit by Avila to right, and Ichiro has to play it on the hop. They're at first and second with one down.
Well, Ichiro had visions of coming in and catching this baseball, but you see the swing of Avila. There's a lot of top spin he puts on the ball, and by the time it gets out, discretion the better part of valor, stays back and plays it on one hop.
I think I could have said it like that.
Said what like what?
The words he used?
Chances are no, but you both come at it in your own distinct styles. Runners are at first and second. Here's Omar Infante, the number 9 hitter.
He had the advantage of college.
Infante flied out his first time. Dirks at second, Avila at first. In the air to right. Ichiro with the catch, and 2 down.
Hitters tonight are going to have to really think about line drives and gaps because the ball in the air is standing up. And that's probably one of the fastest outfielders in all of baseball with what they've got right now with Ichiro, Gardner, and Granderson chasing things down.
You got to have some speed to cover these wide open spaces in this ballpark. Here's Austin Jackson. He's the Tigers center fielder, and he's 1 out of 2. Grounded out in the first, singled in the third when the Tigers had runners on the corners but did not score. They have scored here in the fourth on a solo homer by Delman Young.
Fielder and Young still talking hit.
One thing the Tigers are doing, and again, now it's going to be against the bullpen, but they're turning the lineup over pretty quickly in the first 3.5 innings, which gives their big boys more opportunities to drive in runs.
Austin Jackson, the leadoff hitter, batting for the 3rd time, and we're in the 4th. Runners lead from first and second. Martin with the block. And it's 1 and 2.
You got to give Martin credit. He catches every inning of every game and still mobile enough back there to make those great stops.
He talked during the regular season about the grind it was in a 162 game regular season and the toll it can take physically and mentally. Well, here in this postseason, he hasn't had a second's rest. And you're talking about a Yankee team that's played a bunch of extra inning games, 12 and 13 innings, a couple of 12s.
Joe wanted to make sure that he kept his team away from the ballpark, just rest. Same with Jim Leland, who kept his team away from the ballpark also. Tough travel for both these ball clubs in this postseason.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out and 2 on. On the ground to short. Nunez will go the short way for the force. And that'll do it for the Tigers in the 4th, but they break out on top. A 4-iron by Delvin Young has them on the board. Justin Verlander has allowed 1 hit, struck out 2, hasn't walked a batter as we move to the 5th. Raul Ibanez leading it off for the Yankees. He grounded out his first time.
So far, the last inning and a half, a little bit loose with his fastball, just missing away, just missing in. The luxury that he has is a changeup that he can throw at any count. The fastball, he can start revving it up miles per hour.
Here comes a 2-0. Called straight back by Ibanez, who has been the storyline for the New York Yankees in this postseason with his late inning dramatics.
It's been 25 minutes for Verlander since the last time he was out on the mound. Team did give him 1 run. It's pretty good in every category, like I said. Shutdown innings when a team scores them a run, 2.11 ERA.
The 2-1. Hit on the button to center, but Austin Jackson is right there for the first out. Moments ago, we spoke with Tigers pitching coach Jeff Jones. Well, Jeff, you see this guy an awful lot, and for folks watching around the country getting a look at Justin Verlander, I mean, he's the real deal.
He's really good. He's got all of his pitches working again tonight, and he got a little bit out of rhythm last inning, but hopefully he can lock it back in the fifth.
You know, Jeff, you get stuck on talking about Verlander so much. All of your pitchers have been unbelievable. Pfister and Sanchez in the series also.
They've all done a great job. They worked ahead in the count. They're using all their pitches, and we couldn't be any happier at this point.
Our thanks to Jeff Jones for spending a couple of moments with us in between innings. As Russell Martin waits on an 0-1 from Justin Verlander. That's a beauty, 0-2.
And it doesn't get any better than this. John, you can see how their starters have been their last 4 starts. And now Verlander tonight.
We're going to start seeing more of that curveball. He goes into the fastball changeup mode, and then he breaks out Uncle Charlie just to rub it into your face. He's got that that breaking ball more like a 12-6. Starts up, breaks straight down.
In the air to left center field. Jackson coming in to make the play for the second out. You talk about balls getting knocked down out there. This one's getting blown backwards, John.
Yeah, he threw a slider there and then didn't get quite enough of it in the barrel of the bat. But when he first called it Jackson, that was kind of going to be his ball, and he caught it where the left fielder might have got it.
Well, he was kind of coasting here, went back, came in a couple steps, and then had to get on his horse to make that play.
So 2 down for Eric Chavez.
When you talk about starting pitchers, you say that, you know, this guy has a fastball that's one of the 5th best in baseball. Well, he has that with his fastball, curveball, and changeup, all in the top 5.
Chavez still looking for his first hit of this postseason and takes a strike.
Well, we do enough games where we talk about the count being very important for certain pitchers. I'd argue the count really is irrelevant. If he makes his pitches, the hitter, no matter if it's 2-0, 2-1, or 1-2, they're going to have a hard time squaring it up.
2-1 misses in the count. 3-1 to the Yankees' 3rd sacker.
Fastball saying, go ahead and hit it. Just can't. I mean, you have to see about 9 of them off of Verlander to be able to maybe get your timing down.
To center it.
To center it.
The payoff pitch. Popped up. Johnny Peralta calls and squeezes for the 3rd out. Justin Verlander, 17-8 this season, 2-0 this postseason, and trying to give the Tigers a 3-0 series lead. Here's a look at tonight's pitcher comparison brought to you by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Well, Phil Hughes got the start for the Yankees. Justin Verlander still in there, but Hughes leaving. Initial report coming from Craig Sager that it could have been a lumbar problem in the back. We were waiting official word from the Yankees, but Verlander still in there, having allowed one hit. Hughes gone. And David Phelps, who was pressed into duty in the 4th inning, back out there for the 5th.
Verlander not as sharp, but getting it done. The Yankees have had some pitches to hit. They haven't cashed in, and very economical. Not a lot of strikeouts, only 2 strikeouts for Verlander.
Great when that line is "you're not sharp." That's pretty good, right?
Yep.
Quentin Berry leading it off for the Tigers here in the 5th. Ball and a strike. He singled in the 1st and grounded out in the 3rd. Berry's a rookie, but he's been around. Phillies selected him in 2006. He was waived. Padres gave him a look, then the Mets, then the Reds. Signed with the Tigers in November of 2011. A valuable part of this ball club. And against right-handed pitching, you'll see him in that number 2 spot in Jim Leyland's order. Playing left field.
Time he came up with the Tigers and gave them some energy. They were struggling. He really provided it on the base paths. Obviously was hitting higher than he had hit at any level, and he's stuck around, and now he's in a nice platoon situation for Jim Leyland.
He waits on a 2-2 from Phelps. That's grounded to 3rd. Chavez had the ball play him, and Berry's aboard.
Well, in no man's land here was Chavez. He couldn't come in on it, and once he decided to stay back, of course, the top spin on that ball just ate him up. We're talking about a guy who's a perennial Gold Glover, doesn't even get any leather on it, hits his right hand. Just doing anything he can to try to block it and keep it in front, but the speed of Berry, no chance to make up on that play.
It's an E5 to start the bottom half of the 5th inning. And again, the speed factor with Quentin Berry, 21 for 21, American League record. Nobody caught him. Here's Cabrera.
Well, different situation now. Nobody out. You can take your chances and get to second. With 1 out, maybe you want Cabrera to hit, but any run you add here on out is like adding 2 runs to Verlander.
Again, Phelps throws over to keep Berry close.
He cruised in the first 5 innings, never really got anything close tonight, but 97 once. If he smells victory from the 6th inning on, you'll see a whole different side.
There he goes. Martin's throw late. Berry swipes the bag, and he's at second with nobody out.
Now you put a lot of pressure on the pitcher for the Yankees, and facing Cabrera and Fielder back-to-back. Great jump right here. Martin did all he could to try and get rid of it as fast as he could, and one hop did into Cano.
Phelps just had a pretty good move to first base, but takes forever to deliver the ball to the plate. Martin tried to make up for it with the sidearm throw. Not even close. Think about Cabrera in these kind of counts. He's such an intelligent hitter. We don't even talk about that. He'll sit on a breaking pitch 1-0.
Had a big cut, came up dry, ball and a strike. Cabrera hit .356 with runners in scoring position this year. That was 4th best mark in the American League.
See him imitating, staying behind the ball, inside the baseball.
He's knocked in 1 run in this series, 2 in the postseason. And Berry's out there for him here in the 5th.
Well, he had such an incredible year. You think about this, 19% of the runs that the Tigers scored, he drove in. That is a big percentage with 9 guys plus a few on the bench.
2 balls and a strike. Phelps to Cabrera. Not even 2-2.
See him up to 2 strikes there. Still trying to work the ball to the right side. He's that kind of hitter. Being unselfish. Now he's trying to hit a leaner to right for a base hit, but still trying to work the right side.
Now all bets are off. You hit where the pitch is. You drive the ball as he does as good as anybody. Gap to gap.
The 2-2. That ball is hit to center. Granderson on the run. He won't get there. Quentin Berry is around third. He will score easily. And Cabrera standing at second with a run-scoring double. Detroit 2-0.
Again, that ball never got in the air. That was a missile. That just kept going right here on Granderson.
Just by far the best hitter in the game. He has the ability to take a ball that's inside and shoot it to right center, but he just doesn't hit it to right center. He drives the ball. Granderson playing shallow, like you talked about before, John. He can't catch up the way the ball flies off the bat of Cabrera. Most hitters, when they swing the bat, they have a certain sound. Cabrera's sound off the bat, much different.
The RBI leader strikes again. Tigers 2-0. Aerial coverage provided by Goodyear. Everything Goodyear has learned making tires that go the distance inspires what they roll into yours. Goodyear, more driven. Here in Detroit, the Tigers already leading the series 2-0, have a 2-0 lead here in Game 3 as we play in the 5th. Miguel Cabrera, a run-scoring double. And Clay Rapata on in relief.
Rapata has faced Fielder already, and he has swept these breaking balls away from Fielder, and he goes out and chasing him off the plate. He starts him off with a fastball. Thought that was a great pitch because Fielder's seen nothing but sliders and curveballs.
And he jumps out ahead of the cleanup hitter 0-2. Fielder walked in the first, lined out to center in the third. Cabrera at second, nobody out. Bottom of the 5th.
with a mistake there, Ron. I thought for sure, and so did maybe Prince, that the sweeper was coming. Pretty much guarantee a sweeper coming right here.
Rapata to the plate. Sweeper missed.
Well, tough get here for Prince Fielder, of course. Rapata, very difficult to face if you're a left-handed hitter, but Prince this year with 2 strikes, his average was 265. Great average for 2 strikes.
Rounded to short. Cabrera will stay right there as Nunez throws out Fielder for the first out of the 5th.
More than likely they're going to walk Young. Keep Rapata in to face Dirks. For a left-handed hitter facing Rapata, it almost looks like he's throwing the ball behind him.
Prepare to hear a chorus of boos.
Right on cue.
So Young, who provided the Tigers with their first run with a solo homer in the 4th, gets the intentional pass here. And Andy Dirks will come to the plate with 2 on and 1 out.
Thompson telling the infielders pinch in just a little bit. Double play depth up the middle.
Dirks is 0 for 1 with a walk. That ball hit well, but a great stop by Nunez for 1. They get to 4th. Runners at 1st and 3rd. He saved a run.
Outstanding play there by Nunez, a guy that has struggled occasionally with the glove, but lays out, doesn't catch it, but stays with it. And a little toss here to Cano barehanded. No play at first base. They'll take the force though.
Cabrera moves to 3rd. Dirks at 1st. And another pitching change for the Yankees, as Rapata has come on to face the lefties. And we'll be back to Detroit after this. It is golf's most exclusive event, major champions only. The 2012 PGA Grand Slam of Golf from the Port Royal Golf Course in Bermuda. It all starts Tuesday, October 23rd at 4 o'clock Eastern and Pacific on TNT.
So does that mean there's only 4 of them playing?
That is.
Wow, that is exclusive.
It's always been a good time. Got a chance to do that when several years ago when it was at a different location. I haven't been to Bermuda, but it's always great when you have the 4 major champions and excellent chance to watch them up close, and always a lot of fun. It will be again this time around. Bubba Watson will be fun to watch all on his own. That's right. As he plays in Bermuda next week. $10 o'clock here in the East. And it's Game 3 of the American League Championship Series here on TBS. The Tigers, who went to New York and took the first 2, coming back home and trying to take a commanding 3-0 lead in this series. They lead Game 3 2-0, threatening for more here in the 5th. Cody Epley on in relief, and he faces Johnny Peralta.
Epley will throw more fastballs than Rapata, I believe, because of sinking action. He will sweep it as well. 2 specialties coming out, having to pitch in 1 inning. And it's not even that late. This is a big inning for the Yankees.
In the air to center. Granderson makes the play, and that'll do it for the Tigers. But not before they add to the lead. With the help of an error, a stolen base, and a ringing double by Cabrera. Here in Game 3, Delman Young, line drive homer. That was a solo shot, and then Miguel Cabrera. It's the only hit of that inning, the 5th. And it chased home Quentin Berry with the Tigers' 2nd run. We move now to the top half of the 6th inning, and Justin Verlander's been sitting through a couple long half innings here recently, John.
Yeah, and again, only one run each inning. 48 minutes in between two innings, so 23 minutes here before he threw a pitch. And really, the biggest thing, the challenge for a pitcher is to stay mentally locked in. You go in and out every 5 to 7 minutes. Well, those two changes of pitchers and an injury, your rhythm just has to be tested, which your mental toughness comes into play.
And he falls behind Curtis Granderson, 3 balls and no strikes. Verlander hasn't walked a hitter here in game 3. That's over for a strike, 3-1. Would you do anything when an inning was dragging on? Anything different than you normally would?
No, you
John,
just got to
Ron?
keep your arm warm. You know, that's the biggest thing. Don't let your arm cool down, and stay locked in.
Pops up the 3-1. Cabrera near the line makes the play. So he falls behind 3-0. And then Granderson pops up the 3-1 pitch.
Well, that goes to show you the frustrating part of why the Yankees aren't hitting. They've gotten pitches to hit so far in these first 6 innings, but have not been able to deliver at all. That ball is centered to Granderson, and he pops it up.
Yeah, from the 3rd to the 6th inning, he has not pitched ahead of too many hitters, and he's gotten behind. He's just missing on either side of the plate, but then when he has to come in there, the hitters have not done anything for the Yankees, pretty much like they have not done much this series.
Verlander only allowed that 1 run in 2 starts against Oakland in the DS. That 1 run came from the leadoff hitter, Coco Crisp, who homered here in this ballpark. He hasn't given up a run since.
Yeah, and he's struggling today, giving up 1 hit.
Boom, boom. This is Eduardo Nunez. The Detroit starting pitching absolutely lights out in the last 4, now 5 games. Nunez turns on it, and it's 0-2.
There's a lot of pride in the units. You know, you're a team, but you have the bullpen's a unit. The starters are a unit. The offense and the bench players. And when you're pitching, you want to keep that going. You don't want to be the guy that changes the mojo, and you want to hand it off to the next guy and say, your turn.
Ran it inside. Ball 1 to Nunez. Now the last 34 1/3 innings pitched by Tiger starters. No earned runs allowed. Here comes the 1-2. Nunez just reaches out and pokes it to first. Fielder takes it himself. 2 up and 2 down. Who will become a legend this October? Cast your postseason vote at MLBFanCave.com.
Really, the Yankees only scored their runs in this series of Valverde.
Yeah.
The 4 runs in the 9th. 2 2-run home runs.
So here's Brett Gardner in the leadoff spot for Joe Girardi tonight. He's grounded out to second and popped out. Joe Girardi on a night in which his starting pitcher had to leave in the 4th with a stiff back. Phil Hughes.
He used to always hear, go strike 1 to make these things work. Justin Verlander did that the first 3 innings 7 times or so. A little bit of a struggle the last 3, but he's still making it work.
Breaking pitch missed. 2 balls and a strike.
That's a hard pitch for the umpire to stay on and call correctly because it's so sharp and it breaks so big.
Yankees came into this game hitting 192 in the series. They've managed 1 hit against Verlander. And that one right back to Verlander, who juggles and throws him out. 1, 2, 3, 6. With the Tigers leading 2-0, we head to the bottom half of the 6th inning, and Alex Avila leads it off. And takes a strike from Cody Epley. He's the 4th Yankee pitcher. Phil Hughes started, worked into the 4th, and then left with a stiff back. David Phelps and Clay Rapata, and now Epley have followed him to the mound. It's no balls and 2 strikes.
Difficult managing for the Yankees. They had to use 4 pitchers in Sunday's game to get 1 out. Now using extra pitchers today because of the injury to Phil Hughes.
And on 3 pitches, Avila goes down swinging.
Well, you got to feel good if you're Joe and you get Epley to get you through this inning. The game is relatively close. I know Verlander's on the mound, but this is what you were hoping for. I mean, if you have to use this many pitchers to give your team a fighting chance, we saw what they did in the 9th inning when it was 4-0 and it didn't look like they were going to score. Certainly still an uphill battle.
Only 2 strikeouts for Yankee pitching in this one, both been Avila. Hughes got him once, and Epley gets him here in the 6th. And Omar Infante, a sharp single to left with 1 out.
Start thinking down the road for the Yankees as they get their bullpen up about matchups again. Boone Logan, when you use him against Prince Fielder, and then of course you got Cabrera. It just makes it tough when there's traffic on the bases and those 2 guys come up.
Leadoff hitter Austin Jackson is 1 out of 3. Takes a pitch outside, 1-0.
That's how I would describe tension pitches. I mean, when those guys are on base and you're facing Cabrera and Fielder, you try to make perfect pitches. And it's hard to make perfect pitches all the time.
Well, if you look at this series so far, you're talking about a Tiger team that's hitting in the clutch, and a Yankee team that not only is not getting a lot of production from anyone, but has a couple of starters that didn't even make the lineup tonight in Swisher and Rodriguez.
Two balls and no strikes to Austin Jackson. Jackson goes the other way, near the line, but foul.
Again, we see Jackson going to the right side, hits it off the padding down the right field line.
Jackson hit 300 right on the button this year. His career high. Went deep 16 times and knocked in 66 runs. Also scored 105. Among the most in the American League. Got great speed. Had 10 triples in the regular season and has 1 in this series.
See with this park how many chances you would have to get a triple. In some parks you have to have bad bounces and quirky things happen, but not here.
You got a quirky one at Yankee Stadium when he hit that ball down the first baseline and it kind of got hung up in a place where the wall juts out about 100 feet down. Two balls and a strike. There goes Infante, and he'll make it without a slide.
You got Verlander and mound. You can take some chances. You can be aggressive.
Again, Martin trying to rush to make the throw, doesn't come up with the baseball from Epley. And I see Infante looking in there, so that might have been a hit and run that Jackson missed the sign.
3-1 the count. And that'll hurt for a second when you foul one off the foot on a night where it's 50 degrees, though John swears it's lower than 50.
Trust me, it is.
Jackson waiting on a 3-2 from Cody Epley. As Larry Rothschild continues to work the phone to the bullpen. And that is ball 4. Runners at first and second with 1 out.
Epley got the left-hander Davila out and has not handled the right-handers. Infante with a hit and Jackson with a walk.
Well, the problem there now, that messes up a little strategy for Joe Girardi, because he could have had Boone Logan come in and face the left-hander. But in this case, he's going to have to roll the dice because you got Cabrera on deck.
The problem here with the bury up, and you've got the platoon that Garcia will hit if Logan were to come in and pitch.
Barry reached on an error in the 5th. Scored the second Detroit run on the double by Cabrera, and here comes Joe Girardi. Once again, the Yankees will go to the pen, and we'll be right back here on TBS. we welcome you back. Let's throw it down to Craig Sager for a Bank of America game break.
Well, over the National League Championship Series, the Giants last night with a 7-1 victory over the Cardinals, even that series at the game apiece. Game 3 is tomorrow in St. Louis. It will be Matt Cain against Kyle Loesch. Matt Cain sending a message today to Matt Holliday, saying he is going to pitch inside, and here is why. Last night, top of the first inning, Holliday goes into second rather late, taking out Marco Scudero with a late slide. Scudero has a sprained hip. X-rays are negative. But as for the game tomorrow, Matt Cain says, hey, if one of my pitches gets away, it gets away. The fireworks in the National League, EJ.
All right, thank you very much, Craig. You guys saw that play in the late slide by Holliday. What'd you think?
Well, I've watched Holliday play since he came up with the Rockies. He is one of those guys that is a real strong slider into second base. He takes guys out left and right. There, though, that slide was way too late. It's a slide you've seen in the past, 20, 30, 40 years ago, but a slide you don't see today.
So you can check out the next game in that series with Joe Buck and Tim McCarver on Fox tomorrow afternoon. Here tonight, Game 3 of the American League Championship Series. The Yankees have gone to the pen again. The left-hander, Boone Logan.
Garcia 2 for 2 with 2 RBIs off of Logan this series already.
Takes a strike. 0-1. Avisail Garcia, 21 years old. The Tigers minor league player of the year. Made the jump right from Double-A to the bigs in August. And he's knocked in 3 runs in this postseason.
Well, he's placed his hits perfectly. He gets jammed on basically 2 of them. He hits one up the middle and then, of course, hits a flare into right field. But they've been big hits. Add-on runs that are huge in the postseason. Once you reach the 6th and 7th innings and beyond, those are big.
He's hitting now with Infante at second and Jackson at first. And the 1-1 from Logan. And away, 2 balls and a strike. Guess who's on deck?
Well, if you didn't know any better and you're watching Garcia up, almost a clone of Miguel Cabrera behind him. Almost the same batting stance, same build. Just learning.
Runners lead from first and second, and here comes the 2-1. Another bad one loads them for Miguel Cabrera.
Much better discipline out of Garcia in this early part of this series. He came out swinging. So he's seen him now. This is his 3rd time he's seen Boone Logan. For a young guy, he didn't have the luxury to be around the league very long to see a lot of guys, so he's learning on the job.
3 balls, 1 strike. Here it comes. Lined into center field, base hit. Infante will be held at third. They're loaded for Cabrera.
You're wondering why he held him? The guy at the plate. More times than not, you would take chances. Again, he doesn't hit it great. Right in the right spot.
Well, one of the reasons he couldn't send him, John, is that Infante wasn't sure, because it wasn't hit great, that Nunez was not going to make the play. So he had to stop for a second, proceed to third, and Gene Lamont with the hold.
So here's Cabrera. With the bases loaded. And 1 out in the 6th. Tigers leading 2-0. A bullet to third. There's 1. There's 2. What a double play turned by the Yankees on a hard hit ball by Cabrera. And they get out of a bases loaded jam. 1 cash rewards card. 6 innings in the books and a 2-0 Detroit lead. The Tigers have left 10 on tonight. And a great inning-ending double play started by Eric Chavez. Kept the Tigers off the board in the 6th with Cabrera on with a chance to bust it open. Avisail Garcia stays in the game in right. And Andy Dirks moves from right to left. Ichiro leads it off in the 7th against Justin Verlander. 2 balls and no strikes. When we get a second, we're going to talk about that base hit by Garcia and the decision to hold Infante at third. Way upstairs, 3 balls and no strikes.
To say that Suzuki Ichiro has taken the best at bats of any of the Yankees in this series.
Ichiro struck out in the 1st, singled in the 4th. And that has been the only Yankee hit. We're in the 7th. And the 3-1 from Verlander. Grounded through the right side into right for the 2nd New York hit, both by Ichiro. Now let's go back to the bottom half of the 6th inning.
Well, I still maintain that a big part of this indecision, not only from Infante but also third base coach, when you watch where he gets to third base and where Granderson finally picks it up, he still doesn't have the ball. He's going to score easily. Being aggressive with Verlander on the mound, getting that extra run, but 95% of the time with the bases loaded, you think Cabrera is going to drive him in.
And you saw Infante had already slowed dramatically before he even got to the bag because Lamont put the stop sign up. Here's Teixeira, who swings and misses 0-1.
So a big momentum swing for the Yankees, because then that hard hit ground ball double play keeps them right within a heartbeat of this game.
Teixeira fouls it back 0-2. And here's that inning-ending double play.
And it was a bullet here. Nice play by Chavez at third base. You see how he had that glove on the ground and came up with that tough bounce. Easy throw to Cano. Cano, of course, has one of the best arms in baseball at second base.
And Cabrera grounded into an AL high 28 double plays in the regular season. That ball to left. Dirks squeezes it for the first out.
When Cabrera turns a double play, you're going to have to go to the shortstop to take him out. Watch where he ends up throwing it from. We talked about Holidays and his takeout. He gets it and comes about 3, 4, 5 feet over.
Well, they call it the vicinity, the area, and Cano uses that literally.
And here is Cano at the plate now in the 7th with a man on and 1 down. He's 0 for 2. 0 for 12 in the series. And 2 for 34 in the postseason.
Verlander doesn't mind facing the 3, 4, and 5 hitters. 1 for 25 this postseason. I'm going to say that again. 1 for 25. That does not seem possible.
The 0-1 to Cano. Ran it inside and missed the ball in a strike.
That's usually where they put your best hitters. Normally, that's where they're best.
Just from your experience, John, you're telling me.
Just from past experience. And this is not a great stat for the Yankees.
And scored in the last 18 in the 3rd innings. It is hard to believe that at some point Cano's not going to break out. Running out of outs. We're not talking about an average hitter. We're not talking about a decent hitter. We're talking about one of the best hitters in the game in Robinson Cano.
A ball and 2 strikes. Verlander trying to keep the Yankee bats in the deep freeze. With Ichiro at first and one down. Cano came into this game hitting 184 all time against Verlander. 7 out of 38, now 7 out of 40. Here's the 93rd pitch by Verlander. Cano fouls it off.
You start doing math. You're Jim Leyland. You're in the 7th. You pretty much will let him go 120 to 125, no problem. But you'd like it to be a little bit easier on your manager if he has to make a decision in a tight game to the 9th inning. More likely matchups. The good news is there's not been a ton of laborsome innings, meaning a lot of runners on base. It's just been a lot of deep counts, a lot of 3-0s, 3-1s, some foul balls. Those aren't as stressful.
The 1-2. And Cano goes down swinging for the second out.
It's almost like he's teasing Cano with those fastballs away to set up that one up and in as he throws it right by him.
98. I think that's the highest for the night. It won't be the highest for the game.
0 for 29 for Cano now, his last 29 as the drought continues.
Here's Ibanez who takes the ball 1-0. Still just a 2-0 game, Detroit. Tying run stands at the plate.
I mean, most of the times we sit here talking about all the missed chances by Detroit. 10 left on base, but sometimes it doesn't seem to matter when 35's on the mound.
Verlander's allowed only 2 hits, both to Ichiro, who's at first here in the 7th.
Guarantee you if he was allowed to say this, and he won't, but if he comes in the inning and you could say, all right, boys, you can add on now. From this point on, a couple here. I always used to think pitching in a tight game up to the 6th, 7th inning was always great because you always want to pitch like it's 1-0, but the reality is when it is 1-0, when they get you a couple runs in the 7th and 8th, man, and that's what this kind of guy can do when it gets late.
They had a chance to add on in the 6th and could not. As Ibanez takes a strike, it's 1-2. And on a cool night in Detroit, they'll stand as one. Tied for the team lead with 5 runs batted in the postseason. He bats with a runner at first in a 2-0 game. Let's check on Avila.
Yeah, he's got really knocked around this inning. He took one off the glove earlier, and this time on the backswing from Ibanez. Whacked Avila. Tell you, those catchers, they take a beating in this game. Jimmy Leyland, who used to be an old catcher himself, knows what it's like. That's a follow through by Ibanez right on the helmet.
He's got a short stroke to the ball, but a long stroke after he's already either made contact or swung. He fouled off a great pitch, by the way. That was a curveball that was biting down. I would imagine he slowed him down. He could speed him up right here if he wanted to with a fastball.
Here in the Motor City, they're all revved up again. And Ibanez takes 2 balls and 2 strikes. Hit hard to first, and look at Fielder. Big play. The lead remains 2-0 Detroit, and it's time to stretch. Well hit toward left, and that ball is gone. Anderson on the run, he won't get there. The RBI leader strikes again. 7th inning stretch here in Detroit, and the Tigers lead at 2-0, now 6 outs away from taking a 3-0 lead in this series. Justin Verlander, maybe not as dominant, but he's still shutting him out. Not the big strikeout total tonight, though.
Well, there's a lot of intimidation when you face him, and this has not been his best game. I mean, we've seen what he can do when he strikes a bunch of guys out, but Ron, when you're facing a guy like this, you don't get a lot of chances, and if you don't cash in on the pitches, you find yourself in the spot you're in.
Well, I think it really has to say again that he's not at his best, but the Yankee hitters in this series so far have just not found their stroke. And a lot of it has been, John, just him going after the hitters with the wind blowing in, with the cool temperature, and getting to pop up the ball in the air.
Yeah, and a lot of these pitches are over the middle of the plate, and again, you're trying to protect against 3-4 different pitches, and he could throw all fastballs and have success on certain nights, and certainly he's been able to get away with non-typical counts that hitters would feast off of, and the Yankees just don't have that mojo going from the plate. So you're seeing a lot of pitches that are probably hittable, but they haven't been tonight, and credit his ability to say, all right, I'm behind in the count, I'm going to challenge you with my fastball.
Here, hit it, right?
Verlander trying to go 3-0 this postseason. And his mates come to the plate here in the bottom half of the 7th inning. Prince Fielder, Delman Young, Andy Dirks.
I think it's snowing.
Light rain falling.
I think it's snow, Ernie.
Don't give me that, please, John. Forecast I saw indicated late, midnight or so, you might get a little bit of something, and this is very light at this point. Fielder leads it off in the bottom half of the 7th.
Fielder facing a more traditional left-hander. I've seen all he could stand with Rapada.
Boone Logan is the 5th New York pitcher. If you're just joining us, Phil Hughes started Game 3, but had to leave in the 4th with a stiff back.
Breaking ball by Logan that didn't break. Slider up and in on Fielder.
Yeah, this pitch just gets away. You see the rotation. The intention was the intention to break it was there. It just didn't break.
A 1-1. Ran it inside. 2 balls and a strike. Tigers were in position to pad their 2-0 lead in the 6th. Had the bases loaded when Miguel Cabrera bounced into an inning-ending double play around the horn. This ball fouled out of play by Fielder. Two runs, 7 hits, no errors for the Tigers. Detroit 0-2-1. CC Sabathia gets the ball in Game 4 tomorrow night here in Detroit against Max Scherzer.
He was hoping his start would be to pitch them back into the series, not an elimination game.
Here comes the 2-2. In the air to right. And Cano makes the play. 1 down. Here's Delman Young. The Tigers' all-time franchise leader in postseason home runs, and he got the Tigers on the board tonight. Takes a strike. Now, this came in the 4th inning. Young leading off the frame off of Phil Hughes. Little did we know at that point that before that inning was over, Hughes would leave after he walked Andy Dirks and complained of back stiffness.
Well, Young had the game-winning RBIs by the pure stat of it in the 1st and 2nd game.
Could have one here.
Could have one. It's determined by the go-ahead run, and you stay obviously ahead.
And that's never been done in the postseason.
Couple close pitches there taken by Young for strikes. No panic though from Delman. Sam Holbrook with the call.
Here's Logan's 1-2. Martin asked for help. Jeff Nelson said no, he did not go. And Young waves at the 2-2, goes down swinging for the second out here in the 7th.
That was a really, really good hard breaking ball. Young swung over the top.
Only the 3rd strikeout for Yankee pitching on the night. And here's Andy Dirks.
Dirks has struggled so far.
And in the big picture of that 6th inning and the rally the Tigers put together when they did not score, it was Dirks who hit a shot up the middle that Nunez got a glove on, got a forced play out of it. And eventually that inning ended with a double play.
Well, with Phil Hughes leaving early with the stiff back and having these relievers come in and trying to piece it together somehow, some way to keep the Yankees close, they've done it.
Joe's done all he can do from a manager's end to wiggle his way through this game.
Dirks slats it to left, and Gardner is right there to make the play. We are through 7 innings in Detroit in Game 3, and the Tigers lead it 2-0. Steelers 64. Game 4 of this series here on TBS tomorrow to hit the air at 7:30 with Matt Weiner and the gang with the pregame show. Game 5 if needed here Thursday with a 3:30 airtime. First pitch shortly after 4. Justin Verlander going to work here in the 8th against Russell Martin. and a strike.
You know, when you sit there and try to figure out before the game starts, how are the Yankee hitters going to have success? I really thought they would be more aggressive, but to their credit, they haven't been, because they're letting Verlander get them to hittable counts. They just haven't gotten hits in those hittable counts.
Talked about his velocity as we came on the air tonight, John. And
it's getting there.
They can pitch over. 2-2.
2-1 hammer.
Who do you think you are, Justin Verlander?
Well, when you know you've got a fastball in your back pocket that you could go to any count, you can take those pitches and throw them in different pitch counts.
Down low. Count full to the leadoff hitter for the Yankees here in the 8th, Russell Martin. On the ground to third, Cabrera stops it, knocks it down, and throws him out.
You know, the maturity of Justin Verlander has shown itself in many different ways. Cabrera with the Triple Crown this year, able to smother this ball. See how it came off the lip and stayed down, still made the play. But after the Triple Crown was assured from Miguel, Justin Verlander, something he might not have done the first couple of years of his career, bought him a watch from him and the entire team, congratulating him on the fine season.
Here's Eric Chavez. Fouls back the first pitch, 0-1. Fans here got a kick out of the in between innings in the 7th. God Bless America by Jeff Nelson. Or, excuse me, by Jeff Daniels. After the other game, I had Jeff Nelson on my mind, but Jeff Daniels, the actor, got a great voice. And most recently, I saw him in the newsroom. And so he's saying God Bless America. And how about Tim Flannery, the third base coach of the San Francisco Giants, joining the Grateful Dead last night with the national anthem. Two balls and a strike to Chavez. There's Russell Martin.
You can see his thumb. He got jammed on that ball he hit down to Cabrera.
In the air to center. All kinds of room for Austin Jackson. 2 up and 2 down in the 8th.
Trying to manipulate that thumb. Someone who broke his thumb and playing a game. It's the worst pain you can have over there, especially for a catcher. Joe Girardi talks about Russell Martin. He says one of the toughest players he's ever had play for him.
And on a night like this, when it's 50 but feels cooler than that, trying to work it out there in the Yankee dugout. Granderson is 0 for 2. He's one of the 3 strikeout victims against Verlander.
Just here to tell you, he keeps pitching postseason games, he's going to rewrite a lot of stuff. He didn't start out in his postseason career doing too well. His overall record now 5-4 with a 3.74, trending way down, by the way, ERA.
The 1-2 popped him up behind third. Peralta. They're 3 outs away from a 3-0 lead. coverage provided by Goodyear. Everything Goodyear has learned making tires that go the distance inspires what they roll into yours. Goodyear, more driven. Rain continuing. Picking up just a touch here in Detroit as we head to the bottom half of the 8th inning. And you saw Russell Martin with his right thumb being attended to in the dugout in between innings. And Chris Stewart actually came on in full gear, apparently ready to catch the bottom half of the 8th. And Martin said, "Not so fast, my friend." And he's back in there behind the plate, catching Boone Logan.
Boone Logan's done a great job so far keeping the Yankees in it in a tough situation that he got out of.
Johnny Peralta takes inside, a ball and a strike. Peralta's 0 for 3. Came in 5 for 9 in the first 2 games.
Guarantee of Verlander's already going over in his head. 9-1-2. Already probably figuring out what he's going to do and how he's going to do it to get through that 9th inning. Been a very patient game for Verlander. He's had to wait a lot in between innings.
3 balls and a strike to Peralta as he leads off the bottom half of the 8th. Tigers got solo runs in the 4th and the 5th. A Delman Young homer in the 4th. And a run-scoring double by Miguel Cabrera in the 5th. That ball's well hit to left. And Brett Gardner, what a play, to his knees to make it.
Well, he is a gold glove left fielder when he's playing there every day. There's not many left fielders in the game that make this play. A lot of top spin on this baseball, but he has such great closing speed and came on and made that play look easy. You can make the argument, even though Granderson plays center field, the best outfielder for the New York Yankees is Gardner.
Give him a blue star for that one here in the 8th. 1 down. And here's Alex Avila. That's in the air to left and will be much easier for Gardner near the line. 2 up and 2 down. Do not give him a blue star for that one. Team Stream, it's the way baseball fans stay in the know. Head over to the App Store or Google Play and download Team Stream right now. 2 up and 2 down here in the 8th. Boone Logan. An effective job in relief. Yankees going to the pen. And it's Jabba. If you thought you knew what Cougar Town was about, then your thinking is all the wrong thinking. It's about friends and wine, just not in that order. A brand new season of Cougar Town begins on a brand new network this January on TBS. Well, Jabba Chamberlain, the latest Yankee pitcher, took it in on the action tonight here in Game 3.
Still amazing that we're at this point. This is game number 8 for the Yankees in the postseason. Let's just say they had Mariano. He would not have a save still at this point. That's how bad it has gotten for the Yankees. Their rallies have been late. They've won some close games, but their starting pitching really got them to this point. Pitched great all the way up until this series, and Hughes had to leave after 3 innings. But their starters have equally been as tough.
I mean, the last game on Sunday, Kuroda, that might be the best game he's ever pitched, even though he gave up 3 runs, struck out 11, 7 2/3 innings.
Jabba Chamberlain pitched in Game 2 for the first time since taking that broken bat off his pitching elbow in the Baltimore series. He works here to Omar Infante with nobody on and 2 out in the 8th. Rushed that one up at 96 for a strike, 0-1.
Not a totally lost year for Jabba, but partially lost because of that injury in spring training. Gruesome injury to his ankle that kept him out.
That's after coming back from Tommy John.
A 1-1 toward right center field. Granderson on the move, and he makes the play for the 3rd out. The Tigers go in order in the 8th. They take a 2-0 lead to the 9th. This American League Championship Series coverage on TBS is presented by the Capital One Cash Rewards Card. What a reception that Justin Verlander got as he came to the mound in the top half of the 9th inning. And it really speaks volumes to the quality of pitcher he is, his greatness, when you say, you know what? This isn't the greatest you've seen Justin Verlander, but he's pitching a 2-hit shutout in a huge playoff game for the Detroit Tigers, and he goes to the 9th leading 2-0.
Absolutely. If he was a 10-speed bike, he might have got a couple chains caught, but he's in 8th gear right now, getting ready to go to 10th.
That's right.
Eduardo Nunez leads it off. And quickly, Verlander ahead. No balls and 2 strikes.
Well, his first 2 starts, he struck out 11 in both starts. We're used to him being so dominating against lineups. A little more economical tonight.
3 strikeouts, no walks, 2 hits allowed.
Nothing JV about Verlander, varsity all the way, isn't he? Jeez.
I would say so. 118 pitches.
Well, you're going to see 99 at some point this inning. You might see it this pitch after Nunez laid off a really good, hard breaking ball.
One ball and 2 strikes.
Went with the rare inside changeup, making it look like a fastball. Comes out at 89. He had only one choice, but to pull it foul was where it was pitched.
The 1-2. Nunez stays alive. So we got 23 straight scoreless innings pitched in this postseason for Verlander since he allowed that leadoff home run to Coco Crisp.
So reminiscent of, I know he's in the building here, Oral Hershiser in 1988, just making that run through lineups. There's Oral.
A 1-2. That ball's well hit into the corner in left, back toward the wall, and that is a foul ball. The first time tonight that the fans here at Comerica held their breath.
Hanging slider, ball was up, foul.
Jeff Kellogg on the left field line made the call.
Right on top of it.
I gotta believe heater's coming. That's 3 straight off speed pitches. I gotta believe it. Cheese is coming.
Well, he's such a free swinger, so anything up around the eyes is going to be something he's going to probably offer at.
There's the 99 that we said was going to happen, just not in the place that he wanted it.
CC Sabathia gets the ball from Joe Girardi in game 4 tomorrow night.
So hard to channel the adrenaline you've got going when you pitch from the first inning to the 9th.
Fouled straight back. Nunez battling Verlander here in the 9th.
Nobody has learned how to do it as well as this guy. I mean, this is so hard to explain. It's training, it's mindset, it's a physical freak of nature. But he's got reserves that a lot of people don't have.
And we saw a pretty good pitcher throw out the first pitch tonight, Jack Morris. But I don't think since maybe Mark the Bird Fitterich for 1 year did the Tiger fans react to a starting pitcher the way they react to Verlander.
That ball hit well to left. Back toward that wall, and that is a solo home run here in the 9th for Eduardo Nunez. And it's a 1-run game. Talked about how he had battled Verlander in this at bat. Hit a ball foul into the corner. And this one gone.
Look at that bat by Nunez. Catches a hanging curveball, adjusts, and has enough power to hit this over the fence, just out of the reach of Dirks.
So now a 2-1 game all of a sudden. Jimmy Leland went to the mound, and now he's going back to the dugout, and 35 is still out there.
That's a place where the manager comes out, tells me the truth. Are you feeling all right? Usually they never tell you the truth. He said, yeah, we are. Ready to go.
He stayed on those breaking pitches and off-speed pitches as good as anybody tonight.
Here's Brett Gardner, top of the Yankee order. And he takes a strike.
The Yankees came back in game 1 in the 9th inning. Can they do it against arguably the best pitcher in baseball here in this 9th inning?
They roughed up Valverde in the opener. The ball and a strike, and that caused Jim Leland before game 2 to say he's still my closer, but he won't close tonight. Said he was going to go by feel. It was Phil Koch who closed out the game in game 2. Koch and Benoit up in the Tiger pen here in the 9th. And Verlander ahead of Gardner, a ball and 2 strikes.
Well, again, everyone thinks this is a no-brainer, but it's 127 pitchers. You want to keep this guy for not only the rest of this year, but for the career. You don't want to make sure he's fine. You don't want to leave him out there for 145 if you don't have to. But his stuff is still electric. He just made one bad pitch.
And Gardner battling. Just the 3rd hit of the night for the Yankees, and it left the yard by the number 9 man in the order.
Well, this is supposed to be a coronation for Verlander. The Yankees are trying to make it an unraveling. Nice eye by Gardner.
2 balls and 2 strikes. Suddenly a 1-run game here in Detroit. And Gardner fouls another one back.
Two of the new guys in the lineup. Nunez with the home run. Gardner with some good at-bats in this game. Fouling off some tough pitches.
Gardner goes the other way. Out of play. And it stays 2-2. Jimmy Leland has told us on more than one occasion, people don't realize how tough it is to win a ball game. Close things out. And they're all standing here in Detroit in what is now a 2-1 game. Tapper. Verlander. To field. One down.
Before the game, we were in Jimmy Leland's office. We asked him how many pitches for Verlander. He said 130. He's at 132, and he's going to go get him.
Phil Koch is coming on, but listen to this send-off for Verlander.
excitable boy to me.
We welcome you back. Top half of the ninth inning. Yankees have cut the lead to 2-1. And the Tigers have gone to the bullpen. Inside MLB, presented by Captain Morgan, comes your way when this game is over. Matt Weiner there with Heck and Boomer and Cal Ripken. And they will wrap up the night. Phil Koch is on. He's appeared in both games of the series so far. 2-inning save in game 2. And here's Ichiro.
Stress level in the stadium went up a little bit. Coach done a nice job, though.
Koch's always had a great arm. Last season tried to make him into a starting pitcher. It didn't work out. Back in the bullpen now where he's at his strength.
He used to wear the Yankee uniform. And he throws an 0-1 to Ichiro. Grounded to second. Infante to field. The Tigers are 1 out away from a 3-0 lead. And now Koch will face the dangerous switch hitter Mark Teixeira.
Again, do what the other pitchers did. Keep it in the middle of the field. Center field, fly ball. Graveyard tonight.
Teixeira is 0 for 3 and takes a strike. They are roaring here in Detroit. Tiger fans on their feet. 1 ball, 1 strike to Teixeira. And now a strike away.
Where your body wants to throw the ball 100 miles an hour, but you've got to make a pitch. You can't think about what happens other than making a good pitch. Sometimes you get carried away thinking once we get it right here, we're up 3-0. Make the pitch before your emotions. Tendency is to do that. You can overthrow. You can get too excited. Certainly, he did a great job last game. This is the first real test for the Tigers without their normal closer in here in a 1-run game.
Verlander can't sit down.
Nobody in the stadium can sit down.
Koch with a 2-2.
Heard the yell of Holbrook. No. As this ball just outside. Good call.
Teixeira worked a big walk in the opener when the Yankees scored 4 times in the 9th. 3-2. Just foul past third.
Cabrera playing right on the line. Probably saying to himself, why did I die for that? It was 5 feet foul.
Gutsy pitch right there. I think that was a changeup. 3-2.
Changeup or a 3-2 slider. Speeds up Teixeira's bat.
Sellout crowd catches its breath, rests their arms And now they begin waving the towels again. Up the middle, and a 2-out hit for Teixeira, just out of the reach of Koch. And the Yankees are still alive. What an at-bat by Mark Teixeira. Jason Nix will run for it.
Koch couldn't make the stab at this, and then with the shift on, Cabrera hugging the line, playing the pose Peralta, Infante can't come up with a play.
And Robbie Cano steps to the plate. 0 for 3 on the night. 0 for 13 in the series. 2 for 35 in the postseason. And 0 for his last 29.
It's got to end sometime. Is it here?
1-0. Ask Joe Girardi about this team. Ask him about game 1 where they're down 4-0. He said this is just a team that never considers itself out of a game. They were down 2-0 going into the ninth. Nunez with a leadoff homer off Verlander to cut the gap to 2-1. And now Cano batting with 2 down and a runner on.
Someone's bald head for good luck, I think.
He actually had hair before Verlander started doing that. Here comes the 2-0 to Cano.
Until you've been here and done this a lot, you have no idea, a casual fan, how hard it is to get the last out continuously. And that's what Valverde did for him over 3 years. That's not what he's been able to do the last couple games. So you're asking guys who haven't done it to fill the void. It's not that easy.
If Cano gets that same pitch, you're going to see a hellacious swing.
Count even 2-2.
Again, it's all about making a pitch. It's not about thinking you're 1 strike away. Just keep making pitches, and as a hitter's up there, you want to keep fouling off the pitcher's pitches and make them come to you.
Cano's a guy who hit 33 home runs and knocked in 94 runs in the regular season. Just 2 base hits here in the postseason, both doubles. The 2-2. Base hit left field. Nix will hold at second. 2 on, 2 out, 1 in the ninth.
And that guy Ibanez up again. 2 game-tying RBIs in this series, 2 game-winning RBIs in the postseason.
Here's what we've seen from Ibanez in this postseason. Homer to tie, homer to win against Baltimore. And then in this series, down 4-0 going to the ninth. After Ichiro had hit a 2-run job, Ibanez did the same thing to tie it up. But the Tigers were able to win that opener in 12.
I've just seen so many games this year that you think the team that has the lead would have the advantage. The team that has been 1 strike away on several occasions. The Nationals felt it against the Cardinals, the Orioles. Everybody has had to deal with some kind of dramatic situation, and the Tigers are dealing with it kind of the second time this series after being up 4-0.
Heck of a time for Robinson Cano to stop that streak, isn't it? Bullet to left field, gets Ibanez up.
The Yankees were down to their last strike a couple of times here in the ninth. Teixeira delivers a single. Cano goes the other way. Now the tying run is at second. Ibanez at the plate. Light rain continues to fall here in Detroit. Runners lead from first and second. Ball 2 to Ibanez.
This ball is off the plate, but this is where you got to tell yourself you're better than the guy at the plate if you're a pitcher. You've got to find a way to make a pitch.
Two balls, no strikes. Fouled away by Ibanez. 2 balls and 1 strike. Top of the 9th. Game 3. Nick Swisher, another guy who did not start tonight, has a bat in the on-deck circle. Here comes the 2-1. 3 balls and a strike.
The Yankees have been pushed to the limit so many times already this season, and they just have this unwavering, they're not nervous. Sure, they have not scored the runs they thought they would be scoring.
Fouled off at the plate. 3-2, and again, Detroit a strike away from a 3-0 lead in this series.
Does he have the guts to go with a 3-2 slider, or is he going to go with the fastball? These are big moments.
They get the 3-2, 2 outs. Runners are going to be going. Double automatically scores 2.
Runners going on the 3-2 pitch.
Went with an even gutsier pitch. Pitch inside with 3-2. He picks up the second baseman. He looks at second base and picks up the plate late.
They'll wind it up again. Runners in motion. And Ibanez goes down swinging. The Detroit Tigers are a win away from the World Series.
That's the gutsy 3-2 slider that you have to have the guts to throw. And he certainly executed for the right time for the Tigers.
In the last 12 games against the New York Yankees, the Detroit Tigers are 9-3 and now 1 win away from going back to the World Series.
This time around, no 9th inning magic from Ibanez. A nail-biting top of the 9th for the Tigers and their fans here at Comerica. But they win it 2-1, and they lead the series 3-0.
Well, this is just a great slider at the best time you can throw one. Of course, after going in with a heater, you got to think, if you're Ibanez, you got to think a heater's coming, and he throws a tight slider. Might even got the strike call had he not swung. What a great pitch.
That's the best slider Phil Koch has ever thrown in his life. Wow. Saves back-to-back for Koch.
And he saved this one for Justin Verlander, who gave up a home run in the 9th, gave way to the bullpen, and then watch Phil Koch close the door after a couple of 9th inning hits. Wow. Permission to exhale.
Phil Coke trying to make like Willie Hernandez here in 2012 with his second consecutive save. And like John said, just an outstanding gutsy slider on a 3-2 count.
For everything that the Yankees have been through, they sure do battle. I mean, they kept this game at an opportunity to take the lead in the ninth. Their starter goes down. They don't have some guys in the lineup. Came up short.
Final score is 2-1. Tigers over the Yankees. Detroit a win away. And we check in with Craig Sager.
Well, Justin, what appeared to be a comfortable 2-run lead through 8 innings certainly became a rather unsettling there in the ninth. You labored. It wasn't a typical Justin Verlander game. After the home run, 132 pitches, they pulled you out. What was your reaction?
You know, I got faith in our bullpen. Coke did a great job in New York. He's done a great job for us all year, so I was okay with it. And I was up, around 130 pitches or so. So I don't think they're just going to leave me out there and sacrifice the rest of the postseason just for this game, and especially when Coke's been throwing the ball extremely well.
They only had 2 base runners until the one guy jogged around the bases in the ninth. Only 3 strikeouts, not the typical Justin Verlander game. What was the pitches that were working? Why are you going so deep in the counts?
It was working early for me, pretty much everything, and it just kind of fell out of sync there in the middle innings. Wasn't hitting my locations, thus, pitch count got high, and I wasn't striking anybody out because I was behind the count to everybody. But I was able to make big pitches when I had to, and our guys played defense behind me. And I don't really care about the strikeouts. It's keeping guys off the base and keeping them from scoring.
Congratulations, 3-0 lead. That's mighty big. You're hoping, I guess, your next start will be Game 1 of the World Series.
That's what I hope, yeah.
All right, thanks a lot. Thank you, guys.
A 3-0 series lead for the Tigers. 3-0 for Justin Verlander in this postseason.
Well, I was impressed because I can appreciate that he didn't have his best stuff. He was just missing, never gave in. Some people would probably try to paint him every more, but he used the field, the wind, and everything that he had going for him, throwing strikes when he had to. And he's not one that's trying to strike everybody out. He just pitched with what he had and did an effective job.
I think that's always the most impressive when a guy doesn't have his best stuff and he can give up just 1 run at 8 in the 3rd innings pitched. Valiant effort by Verlander, and he's pushed him on the brink of getting back to the World Series.
They hadn't seen their heroes since October 7th here in Detroit. It was worth the wait for them here at Comerica, as our final score tonight is the Tigers 2 and the Yankees 1. Be sure to tune in tomorrow on TBS for Game 4 between the Tigers and Yankees. Coverage begins at 7:30 Eastern with MLB On Deck presented by Dodge Dart. For Ron Darling, John Smoltz, Craig Sager, and the rest of the crew, this is Ernie Johnson bidding you a good night from Detroit. TBS is your exclusive home for the American League Championship Series. After the break, stay tuned for Inside MLB presented by Captain Morgan. Remember to drink responsibly.